The knock came just as the first snowflakes began to fall over Morrisville, drifting quietly past Timothy's window like tiny white secrets. He wasn't expecting visitors, especially not tonight, when Laura was simmering pepper soup in the kitchen, humming softly to an old Liberian gospel tune. When he opened the door, Janice stood there, coat half buttoned, her breath steaming in the cold. Her eyes held a familiar fire, the kind that always came before chaos. "We need to talk," she said. Timothy felt his stomach tighten. He didn't need to ask what it was about. The court papers for child support had arrived that morning. He felt the weight of it like a stone on his chest. Laura stepped out from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. She saw Janice, froze for a heartbeat, then offered a polite nod. But Timothy sensed her body shift, the calm wind just before a storm. "Come in," he finally said, his voice heavy. Janice took 2 steps inside, as if entering the house reminded her of something she needed to dominate. "You didn't answer my calls, Tim, so I had to come." Laura folded her arms, leaning on the doorway. "Maybe you should give him some space." "Space?" Janice snapped. "I gave him 4 years of space while raising his child, so don't even start with me." "Enough." Timothy raised a hand. His voice wasn't loud, just tired. "Let's talk in the living room." They sat. Janice on the edge of the couch, a bundle of tension, Laura perched in the armchair, a silent guardian, and Timothy stood between them like a referee who never asked for this match. "Timothy," Janice began, her voice suddenly softening, "I'm struggling, rent, school, everything, and you're living here like life is easy." Her eyes flicked toward Laura, a silent accusation. "It's not about easy," Timothy said, his voice low. "It's about peace." "Oh, peace," Janice scoffed. "You found peace with her, so I'm supposed to carry all the chaos alone?" Laura inhaled deeply but stayed quiet. Timothy knew she was trying to let him handle it, trying not to pour fuel on a fire already burning out of control. "What do you want, Janice?" he asked, cutting to the heart of it. She hesitated, the anger in her eyes giving way to a raw vulnerability. "I want you back for our child, for stability, for everything we used to be." Laura's jaw clenched. Timothy felt the room tighten like a wire pulled too far. The air grew thick with unspoken history and impossible futures. He rubbed his forehead, the pressure building behind his eyes. "We both know going back won't fix the past, Janice. It would fix my life," she whispered, her voice breaking. "And it would break mine," Laura said quietly, the words hanging in the air. That was the moment the conflict settled around him. 2 women, 2 histories, 2 futures, the old life calling him back through guilt, the new one asking him to choose love over fear. The rising storm pressed against his chest, threatening to suffocate him. "You think a court order will force me to come back?" Timothy asked, his voice strained. "I think the court will wake you up," Janice shot back. "Sometimes fear is what makes a man responsible." Just then, something shifted inside him, slow, steady, and grounding. A memory surfaced, his father back in Liberia, sitting under a mango tree during the Civil War. He could almost hear his voice. "When trouble surrounds you, son, you must be the still point. The world will spin, but you must not." Timothy took a deep breath, finding his center in the storm. "I'm not coming back," he said, his voice clear and firm. Janice blinked, stunned. "What?" "I will support my child," Timothy continued, meeting her gaze fully, consistently. "I'll show up. I'll do everything a father should. But I will not return to a relationship that broke both of us." The rage in Janice's eyes finally melted, revealing a deep, profound sadness. "So, she wins?" "No one wins," Timothy said gently. "This is not a contest." Laura's posture softened, her arms loosening at her sides. Timothy moved to the couch and sat beside Janice, closing the distance between them. "You don't need a man to stabilize you," he said softly. "You need structure. You need partnership, not pressure. And I need peace so I can be the father my child deserves, for the first time." All evening, Janice looked tired instead of angry. I just, I didn't want to face this alone." "You won't," Timothy promised. "We'll co parent. We'll work out child support fairly, but our relationship." That chapter is done. A heavy silence settled in the room, but it was no longer sharp and cutting. It was a silence of acceptance. Janice finally nodded, a slow, reluctant agreement. "All right?" "All right, Tim." She stood, pulling her coat tighter around herself. Before leaving, she looked at Laura, then back at him. Just don't forget your child. I won't, he promised. When the door closed behind her, Timothy released a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. Laura stepped to him, taking his hand in hers. That was hard, she whispered. Life is hard, he said, a faint smile touching his lips, but peace. Peace is a choice. Outside, the snow continued to fall, blanketing the world in white. But inside the small apartment in Morrisville, calmness had finally found its place. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more.